B Plus Wrestling Podcast.
The move.
You might not be an A, but you are a B plus.
Check it out! Here we go! You wanna mess with us? 'Cause we're steady on the ground, steady on the ground. You wanna mess with
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen out there in the B Plus land. It's me, your B Plus man of mystery, and welcome to our weekly flagship show. I'm back. I'm better than ever. Gonna step on whatever the Eric Bischoff song was. I should have planned it ahead better. But the point is, yeah, it feels good to be back talking to you guys. And joining me is the lovely Ben Tokyo. Osaka Ben, how you doing, mate?
I'm doing good. Like, we're just going to start thinking of conspiracies going on here. Like, you and Greg, like, you can never be in the same place at the same time. Maybe you are the same person.
That's the thing. Like, I think at this point, over the past 3 or 4 episodes, we've had at least one member not present. So we're just leaving vocal bombs and throwing shade at them for the next week.
Yes, you can't take an episode off, or else someone's going to talk shit about you. So, do you have a retort for Greg?
I listened a bit to everything from last week, but I forgot, honestly, half the stuff that you guys were trying to poke at. But no, I'm pretty good. It's all in good fun, lads. It's all in good fun.
Yes. Your ice cold takes on WWE losing all their money or something. So,
well, they did. They lost $1 billion, and obviously they're not destitute. Obviously, like, I'm not foolish to think like, oh, WWE's, it's the end of WWE as we know it.
Yeah.
Like, they lost $1 billion. They lost, like, stock market wise, $1 billion in a day, and that's just a big thing.
Do we have an update on, like, have they bounced back considerably since then? But that's, it's weeks ago.
I have kept they haven't really. No, it's about the same as when they dropped. Yeah. So they haven't really made any big moves, any bounce back from it at all. But I'm just trying to think of all the other news coming out from there. Like, people need a little bit more confidence in the product, I think, at this point. But that's okay. I'm sure that will come in time, or there will be some big thing that shakes us all up to the core. Who knows? But yeah, so Greg Unchained is unfortunately not here today. He's feeling a little bit fluey, I think it was, and he'll be back to you guys next week, and I'll let you guys know in advance. I'm actually going to be off for a couple episodes, so it should just be Greg and lovely Ben here talking for a little bit. I'm going a little holiday trip to the Gold Coast, which should be very fun.
Have you been there before? It's a long way. Long way from where you are.
Been, I'm traveling all the way from WA. I've been to Brisbane. I was there for a couple conventions, but this is my first time where I'm going, and I'm going to try and see the wrestling scene over there. I'm going to try and go to I believe the Australian Wrestling League, like the amalgamation of the AWA and is it Prowl or? Yeah, it's an amalgamation show that's happening while I'm there. I'm going to try and watch that and support the local product, as everyone should around the country. But yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing, amongst other stuff. And I think it's time we talk about some Aussie wrestling. How about you, Ben?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Yeah, so I think we'll start with one of the big shows that happened since we last spoke. So PWA, Rick South's For the Boys. This was a very big show. Very aptly timed show, like around Mardi Gras. Ricky South is just an amazing host, first off, and just an amazing talent as a wrestler. I cannot wait for the next PWA show, which I believe is called Coming Out of My Cave and I'm Doing Just Fine. Whoever comes up with the names for the shows at PWA, I tip my hat off to them.
So what's that one going to be themed about?
So I'm guessing it's surrounding Caveman Ugg.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So he's still the champion.
Yeah.
And as I might as well say it now, so Ricky South has earned himself a number 1 contendership for the heavyweight title. So it'll be him and Caveman Ugg, we assume, at the next event. I hope they don't drag that out too long. But yeah, it's going to be a hell of a match. I cannot wait for that, especially after the gauntlet match that we had. So you guys talked about PWA, and we talked about it over the past couple of weeks. I'll just glance over the results here. We had a dark match between Big Fudge defeating Dazza. Big Fudge is always hilarious. We had Mikey Broderick defeating Carter Deems, Silvio, and Tree Hugger Lucci. That was a very high flying contest. We had Madison Eagles return.
Oh,
after
God, how long has it been since she's wrestled?
I was going to say it's been quite a while. So Maddie Wahlberg is still on the quest to try and challenge Mick Moretti sword versus sword, but he said he had to defeat whoever Moretti threw at him, and it turned out to be bloody Madison Eagles of the Nations, and yeah, she emerged victorious. So we're still gonna. I don't know how long they'll hold out for the big sword versus sword match. You can't keep Maddie down for too long. I'm hoping that this all leads to him back in the PWA title picture. But yeah, no, they've got us. They've got our heartstrings right now. I can't wait. Not to the degree of Otis on the Valentine's Day edition. That was sad, man. That was just awful. Yeah. Wrestling fans everywhere. That that Simpsons quote. You can pinpoint the second where his heart ripped in half. And there.
Do you think Madison Eagles is she back properly now, or is this just see how she went?
I think this was just a one-off, I think. Okay. Very, very busy woman. Obviously not too busy for PWA. Maybe might be ready for another couple of shows, but I think this is she'll have a break for another couple months before the next one. That's just me personally. I could be totally wrong, and I'm happy to be wrong about that. We had a tag match. We had Jack Bonza and Kingsley defeat the Prefects. We had Sam Osborne. He has finally won a match in PWA. And not only that, he defeated Adam Hoffman of the Blue Nation, which is amazing. So he is with Don Marnell. So Don Marnell is trying to turn his luck around, try and make him his new client.
Are these the two guys that both had never ever had a win, and then they were against each other, or was that something?
Yeah, that was Osborne and Big Fudge.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So now they're back in the winning column. So Big Fudge again, he won. It was a dark match, but he won his match. This might be the year of Big Fudge. Who knows? We had the heavyweight title gauntlet match. We touched on it just then, but Ricky South went through not only Matt Diamond, but also Headhunter Rig and the PWA heavyweight champion Caveman Ugg. Now he beat Ugg by countout, but he still ran the gauntlet. He still earned his opportunity, and props to Ricky South for doing that. Just one of the hardest working wrestlers working today, like not just in New South Wales. We had Paris De Silva defeat Michael Spencer. We had AJ and Reese Angel defeat the Black Shirt Cool Group. That's Concrete Davison and old Shazza. How Shazza is already in the Black Shirt Cool Group, I don't understand myself. It just seemed very sudden, but I'm pretty sure she's a welcome addition there regardless. Sorry, Greg. Greg loves Shazza. And we had to main event it all for the PWWA title. In a steel cage match, Jessica Troy defeated the Python powerhouse Steph DeLander. This was a bloody brutal match and very deserving of the main event. I was gunning for Steph. I was absolutely gunning for Steph. I thought being MCW, well, no, not anymore, but inaugural MCW women's champion, I thought she'd have like both women's title belts, even though the PWWA belt is now a unisex belt. I was gunning for it. I thought it might happen, but not quite. The Arm Collector, once again victorious against Steph DeLander.
That sounds like a massive show. How many matches was this?
This was, so the Big Fudge match was a dark match. That's about 9 matches overall. That's pretty hectic.
Yeah.
But we'll let Greg dissect that all over the next couple weeks because he's got his finger on the pulse more on the PWA scene than us.
Yes, I still haven't seen it, but I did promise him that within the next few weeks I'll watch something.
Yeah, no, obviously on Overplay, which you guys should support. Keep your eye, obviously like and follow all the news coming out from PWA. We touch on some NCW news, but honestly, the next show's pretty far away, so we won't bother at this time. But there's a lot of other news that we should cover, like travel woes.
Yes,
I only found this one out today.
I was hoping we could do like a fun segue for when you go over to the Gold Coast. I hope that you don't need a travel visa or something. But anyway,
I am an Australian citizen. I have nothing to fear.
Yes. Still,
but do I need to bring my passport? Do I? I don't know. The travel woes. Speaking of travel woes, if you go international, which I'm glad I didn't do, which I don't plan to do anytime soon. Poor JXT. He planned this big US tour, gonna wrestle in a couple of different promotions over there. He was gonna put his name out there, but got stopped.
Yes.
Why don't you explain a little bit more, Ben?
Yeah, so one of the Facebook groups, I'm sure we're all a part of it. Someone's like, "Oh, with this JXT news," and it's like, "Like what? What happened to JXT now?" And then you can go to his own JXT's Twitter account, and he had the story there how landed in the US and then got stopped and pulled out of line, questioned a bunch of times, and had these things taken off him, and they'd target him because last time he was over there, over 12 months ago, I think, working, wrestling while on a travel, like a tourist visa, not a work visa. And I guess they was like, well, we know this guy's coming back over. Certainly
we know what you did.
Certainly not quiet about it on social media with his bookings and things. And
I know what you did last summer, etc.
Yes. Oh, yeah, he should name like he's book himself on the show, and so JXT, I know what you did last summer.
Oh my god!
and so they held him put him in a holding thing overnight, something like 15 hours, which must have been terrifying.
Yeah,
like if that happened in like Mexico, or like if you're in a country where they don't speak in English as their first language, then you'd be absolutely terrified. So this is not as bad as that, I think, but he said it was like one step up from prison, and then put back on a flight back to Australia after, what is that, like a 16-hour flight to America, probably?
Oh, at the very least.
Yes.
And that's only if it's like direct. So
Yeah.
there might have been,
So,
but this is insane. So it goes without saying how it's hard enough for Australian wrestlers to get bookings, not just interstate, but internationally. And JXT is not the first wrestler to work on a tourist visa. But to put it into a bit more context, getting a work visa to America is nigh on impossible for anyone at the moment. The level of customs and immigration, the enforcement of visas
thanks, Obama.
over there. Yeah.
No, Trump, obviously, Trump.
Yeah, no. I thought we'd be able to go without actually mentioning some generals responsible, but there it is. But yeah, no, there's just the levels of enforcement now have gotten to such a degree where it not just small indie shows, not just small indie wrestlers, but like it impacts like WWE, it impacts AEW, it impacts a lot, New Japan, and because like sometimes they'll if people go into their country and like they might try and stop people from getting out. But yeah, it's a really hard thing to do, because the only way you can honestly at this point in 2020 get into America is on a tourist visa. And it maybe because he wasn't as quiet about it, like because his name was on like the WWE.com like the tryouts, I think, as I've been told. But it's a fine line for any independent wrestler trying to make a name for themselves. Like what's your take on it?
Well, luckily for him, he said that he wasn't banned like outright from going back, but he's not allowed back in on a tourist visa, so he has to like actually have a work one to go back into the States.
And who knows how long that will take, especially since he's been denied now, and that might take him God knows how long.
Yes, the WWE dream could be over. But
it's disappointing, honestly, because we want all our boys to succeed, like whatever state they're in. I know guys over here, like they're traveling to Mexico, and they don't like it's hard, but like they don't encounter nearly as much problems as going to America, which should be the haven for independent wrestling. But
Well, I guess
um,
you have to be that level up from independent. Like, obviously, Ring of Honor's just got 3 Australians, so
exactly, yeah, we should make this. We should transition to something a little bit more positive because while some Australian stars are being stopped in America, not all of them, because we have a few Australian lads who are finding sanctuary in Ring of Honor, which is amazing news. We have the news that was it Kellyanne?
yes,
She got
Kellyanne.
signed.
The day after we released the last episode, like, and me, I don't know if you heard the part with me and Greg, like we had our topic where when a bit of a deeper discussion about what's like the future of like MCW with so many people that have left or leaving or just like not really on the scene so much in the last 12 months. And then it's like, yeah, at least we got Kellyanne. and then
Kellyanne signs with Ring of Honor.
And there's like, are you fucking kidding me? I mean, like, obviously that's fantastic for her, but
Yeah, of course.
as a fan, like, it's hard when like MCW is my, no, apart from TCW obviously, but it's the one that I follow the most and support, and to lose another like top tier talent, you know, it hurts a bit.
Like you have to imagine though, like, we've touched on this, like good old head booker Marty Scurll. He's been to Australia a few times with World Series Wrestling. He's seen some of the talent. He's worked with Slex. He's worked with Adam Brooks. He's worked with Kellyanne. So he knows these people personally. And to be able to book them and help sign them to some degree, I'm sure it's amazing news for them. I'm trying to remember when her booking is. So it's not for the 18th anniversary. I think it's for.
They've got the women's tournament thing.
Yeah, so for the women's tournament, but we have that to look forward to for Kellyanne. Also, already signed because they've got this big 2-day 18th anniversary pay per view, and one of those matches is Adam Brooks versus Slex.
Yes, word on the street is they can put on a pretty good match together. I feel like I've seen it live 3 or 4 times at this stage, but it's always amazing.
How long has it been? About 2 months, if that, since the last time?
Probably less, yeah. It was Lex's last match was that, and it couldn't have been 2 months ago at this point.
Yeah, and I'm sure, like, recent... you can
it was like January 12th or something.
So, I believe it's March 15th is the 18th anniversary show. Like, that's one of the nights, the Friday night show. And yeah, you can say recency bias, but of course, like Adam Brooks and Slex, very accomplished wrestlers. I know Slex is booked in a triple threat match with Marty Scurll, and I forget the other gentleman. I think it might be Jay Lethal.
I know he has a 6-man where he's teaming with the Briscoes as well.
Yeah,
might be Intervillain Enterprises. I'm not sure.
Yeah. So for the show that Slex and Brooksy are on, they've got the Dragon Lee versus Bandito for the TV title.
Ryu Lee, come on, you got to get it into your head.
Sorry, Ryu. I
know it's hard.
That's on me, guys. The Briscoe brothers versus Dalton Castle and Joe Hendry. We've got the tag team champions Jay Lethal and Jonathan Gresham versus Villainets versus Marty and Flip. So Villain Enterprises could be making their way back to the tag team division. That'd be interesting because we got PCO back. He had a bit of a break, obviously, which is good for him. So he's back and recharged. But yeah, this is like obviously this renewed interest in Ring of Honor it's amazing. So the Australian wrestling scene has kind of been able to capitalize on this, which is amazing.
Yeah, I'll be keeping Honor Club for at least another month to see.
Yeah, for at least another couple months now. But who else do you think might from Australia, if they got signed like to Ring of Honor, who would you want?
Oh God, I don't want to curse it. I don't want anybody.
No, it's not about cursing. Just honestly, just because if Australian wrestling is going to find haven in Dowie, it's an amazing choice.
And I think after Dowie, I think it's quite a jump down to the next like sort of top tier of what we've got, unless there's like something obvious I'm not thinking of. Like, do you think a Danny Sarko would want to go, or is he just happy doing his tattoos and just like wrestling once a month?
I think there are some wrestlers who are like will be Australian wrestling till the day they die. I think
Yeah.
Danny Psycho is one of them. I think Dowie is one of them too, but
He's got commitments
I
with
think
the academy, so
yeah, I think at the very least he might have he might entertain the notion of doing a couple of matches for Ring of Honor.
yeah.
And like we have the Fale Dojo like now being an official part of New Japan's Young Lions program. I can see a lot of Australian wrestlers finding haven through there as well. Yeah, it's the best of times and the worst of times to be an Australian wrestler, but if you know the ways in,
Well,
then
we've had the Brat Pack have actually worked with Ring of Honor. They went over to that
exactly
UK
the
show.
Brat
So
Pack as well.
I wonder if them
Yeah.
or the Philippes, like if we're talking about who would go to Ring of Honor next, it could be either of
Yeah.
those tag teams.
Yeah, I'd love a Rat Daddy to go in.
Yeah.
This just for the amount of just for him to do one of his promos that will go for like 10 minutes and just I want to read all the comments from the American audience just like who the hell is this guy?
I've only ever seen him once, and that was the match against Lex. So
Yeah, but he needs to be booked out of Adelaide more personally. But that's just me, and I'm just trying to think any other Australian news, but no, that's pretty much it. Oh, we're not talking much about MCW, but the women's division. So Kellyanne is signing to Ring of Honor. We have, I believe, is it you?
yes,
Who's coming to? Yeah,
this
so
will be fun.
what's
Like,
going on here?
I'm certain that I've seen it live. I think it was Sendai Girls or some other show that I went to in Japan. So very excited to see her. And I just like watched one of her matches on YouTube just last week or something, just before this was announced. Now, am I crazy, or did I see that they announced Kellyanne versus you on this next MCW show, and then they changed it to no, sorry, Kellyanne versus
like,
Avery, and then it's
like
I thought that was the match they were doing, and then they changed it all up.
Yeah, like because Kellyanne, she challenged, she let her intentions known to Avery when she like moments after she won the women's title, but Avery was on cloud nine, did not care at all whatever the hell Kellyanne said.
I thought they put the match graphic.
Yeah,
I thought they did the graphic of like this match is happening.
No, if they did it in attendance, because you would know, I have no idea, but yeah, it's very surprising. But maybe they're building that up. Maybe the Kellyanne signing of Ring of Honor might have messed things about just a little bit.
It makes sense. It's like, oh, well, she's not going to win, and she's going. Like everybody knows that she's going.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they don't want to mess up the situation there, and of course, maybe MCW too. We talked about the state of the women's division, like trying to bolster it up in some way. Developing a relationship with some Joshi wrestlers
that would be
is a great
amazing.
way to go.
I'd love it if they bring one or two over every month, like a Yuka Sakazaki or someone like that. Absolutely awesome it would be.
So this will definitely, like, you coming over here is definitely going to be a trial run, depending on like her reception and if she's happy working with the MCW crew. I'm sure it will go great. Over here in WA, I've had the honor of working with Hiroyu Matsumoto and Meiko Satomura, like absolute professionals.
You get a lot of them over there. I'm very jealous.
Oh, well, no, we get a couple of international names, but in terms of Japanese wrestlers, that's a relatively new thing to WA. So obviously would love to see them over here more. Any Joshi wrestlers or any Japanese wrestlers coming over is more than welcome.
I think
just like
Kellyanne is the best opponent out of everyone I could think of for you as well. So I'm glad that they made that the matchup.
Mm-hmm. And obviously, if Kellyanne is going to Ring of Honor, you can expect maybe like the Ring of Honor, New Japan, like those kind of eyes will be watching that match as well. So it's all connected, folks. It's all connected. If you're a conspiracy nut like our lovely Greg, who is not part of this at the moment. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I think we should cut to a little interview that Greg did manage to acquire for us before he fell ill. How about you introduce this person here, Ben?
Yes. So one of my fellow comrades at TCW is Charlie. So she's did an interview with Greg. Oh, we haven't listened to it yet.
No, we have no idea what it said,
Yeah.
she said yet.
So
But
hopefully she didn't bury me. I'm sure I didn't come up a single bit unless Greg was trying to take the piss out of me. So yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing it. I don't think it's a very long one though, is it? From
I have no
what
idea.
Greg
We'll
said in the
leave that. We'll leave that to everyone. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, the TCW North-Est champion, Charlie Rose.
My guest at this time, joining me by the magic of the internet, joining me, very sick me, my voice sounds awful and I'm aware of this, don't at me, or by the magic of the internet, all the way from Tasmania. She is the first ever North-esque champion in TCW. I hope I'm saying that right, North-esque. I have no idea what that means, but I'm sure we'll get into it. Charlie Rose, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Yeah,
I mean, so
sick.
probably not the best.
Yeah, no, not the best.
Yeah.
I have one working ear at the moment, so
Yeah.
it's fun,
Well,
man. It's
when
fun.
you get two, it'll be a good time.
Well, it's one of those things too. Like it's I know I'm gonna get it again because I have kids.
Yeah.
So like my partner has had it. Like we're pretty sure the kid brought it home from playgroup, and then my partner has had it, and she's like at the end of it, and I'm at the beginning of it, and then like my daughter hasn't had it yet, so she's gonna get it, and then it's gonna pass back around, right?
Yeah, it's crazy how fast. My brother came back from his first day of school the other week, and then 2 days in, he's come home sick. So
yeah. New
it's crazy.
school flu. It happens, right? It's a thing.
Yeah,
It's a real thing.
it must.
It's just really scary because of all the coronavirus stuff. And like, I know I don't have coronavirus. I
know,
like,
right?
I haven't been to China. Like, but it's one of those things. Like, I got Uber Eats. Did my Uber Eats driver go to China? I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe he breathed in the bag.
Because you won't know. Who would know?
Yeah.
And it's such an inconvenience. You don't realize how grateful you are for just having a working nostril or ears or something until you get sick and you're like, oh my god.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things. Like, I was still able to go to the gym this morning because, like, if it's neck and above, you're okay, right? Like, as long as you're sanitizing and you know, not coughing all over things and people, you're fine. If it's neck and above, but like throughout the day today, I've felt it slowly seep into my joints. Like, I'm feeling really sore.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I'm probably not going to get to go to the gym tomorrow, and so I'm sacrificing gains here. It's not good.
Yeah, it's such an inconvenience because then you're just like, oh, it's just a cold, but it knocks you out.
It derails everything. But what's not derailed is your wrestling career. So let's talk about it, yeah? So you're a star on the rise. You're probably the youngest person I've had on this show. You started wrestling quite young, right?
Yeah, I did. I started training when I was 14, almost 15.
Right.
Yeah, so
it'd be
stupidly young.
It'd be you or Eman the Kid would be the youngest people I've had on the show. Because Eman the Kid, I think he was 17 when I talked to him. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I think. I'm not entirely sure. But you're young is what I'm getting at. And you're throwing yourself at the ground. So where did this come from? Tell us, like, your first memory of wrestling and what got you excited about wrestling to begin with.
Okay. So my first, like, memory of wrestling was I was at my nan's house and my dad used to watch it on the TV all the time, and I don't know why, but I'd hide like behind my nan's couch, and which is like, I don't know, like a cubby house or something, and wrestling was on the TV and I was kind of peering over, and my dad was like, oh, don't watch this, like you'll get scared.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay. But then I just kept peering over and I just couldn't stop watching.
Dude, that's so similar to me. Like, I wasn't allowed to watch it, and I would hide behind my dad's lounge because of the way the lounge room was set up with the hallway. I would be like right there behind the lounge and like sneaking a view without him knowing. And so like, that's so similar. Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, pretty much did that. And then it was that same day, Dad was just like, all right, come around and watch it. I was like 7 or 6 or something like that. And then, like, I always watched it growing up in primary school, but, like, I'd never really thought of it as much. I, like, would talk about it to people, but they'd just be like, oh, yeah, wrestling, cool. You know how people are like, and kids who are like, ugh.
Yeah, well, you're different to me because you grew up in, like, sort of the lull period, right? So you're probably talking, like, Dolph Ziggler and stuff were, like, top guys, right?
Yeah, around 2012, 2013, I would say.
Yeah, see, that's sort of, like, when I grew up, it was cool to talk about wrestling at school. Like it was the hot, like it was just out of the Attitude Era and into the Ruthless Aggression stuff. So it was like the start of John Cena and Randy Orton and Evolution, and and Undertaker was being the biker guy and stuff, and heaps of people were talking about it at school. So it wasn't like, for me it was very different. But yeah, I can imagine like no one talked about wrestling in like 2012 and 13. Like that was yeah.
And it's the worst too, because all I wanted to do was talk about, oh, did you see Rey Mysterio and The Undertaker and all these, like, characters that I, fell in love with watching, because I couldn't understand why I love this weird sport so much. And everyone's just like, oh, yeah, WWE, right, cool. Like, oh, okay, I see how it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I guess the fire sparked, where, like, I'd watch it here and there, as I started, when I, became a teenager and started high school and all that. And I came across the original Fighting With My Family documentary with Paige and her family.
Yeah, like the BBC one or whatever.
Yeah, and I watched that, and like, I think I was 13 or something. And by the end of it, I just bawled my eyes out, because I was like, oh my God, here's a young girl that does wrestling. Like, because I didn't know what I wanted to be. Everyone, all the girls around me wanted to be hairdressers and, do all that kind of stuff. And I was like, I could be a wrestler. Like, what's stopping me from doing that?
Right.
And then, yeah.
And so Paige was kind of a big inspiration then?
Yeah. Just finding that out, and then getting back into it more seriously, and seeing what other girls, this is like AJ Lee, Bella Twins, those guys. And then, as I'm getting into it more, I'm going back and watching, older stuff from years ago. Not just the girls too, like guys, everything.
Yeah. So did the Bella Twins have an influence on you? Because they get a really bad rap, but I think they're actually kind of amazing.
Yeah. Like, I don't think I really enjoy their wrestling style. I want to say Nikki Bella more, just because of like character stuff, where one thing I really struggled at training was trying to find a character, or, trying to sell and do that kind of stuff. And I think they both do that really well. Obviously not specifically their character. I'm not going to, go out in tiny shorts and spin around like that.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I don't know. I definitely think that they get a bad rap for, not doing much, but people can have their opinions.
Well,
I guess.
I think that they were so instrumental to bringing new fans in as well, like with the whole Total Divas thing and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, right.
Like my partner watched Total Divas for a few seasons there. Like she really enjoyed that, and it made wrestling more tolerable for her. And so it's like, and I feel like they don't get credit for that. But not only that, but they actually weren't awful in the ring. Brie had some moments, but like they were enjoyable to watch, and I don't understand why they get such a bad rep.
Yeah, it's because people, what people are like on the internet. One person says something, and then it's a whole big craze. But
yeah, a big pile on. Haters gonna hate.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Have you had your share of haters yet? Has that happened to you? Because I know some local wrestlers do get it.
See, I'm pretty protected here in Tassie because I am the only local girl.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, and hometown crowd, they're very cheery for me. But nothing super bad. When I went to Venom in Queensland, crowd reception was, quite an experience. It obviously wasn't good, but no, I haven't had anything too crazy yet.
Right. What's the crowd like in Tassie? Are they very like true believers? Like we absolutely hate the heels and we absolutely adore the babyface? Because that's what it's like for a lot of companies here in Adelaide. It's very true believer. And I know ACW and TCW work together sometimes. Like a lot of our guys have gone down there. So I'm wondering if it's like a similar crowd or...
Yeah, so with Tassie, it's very much like a family-friendly show. It's not specifically like a wrestling crowd show. It's a lot of families and kids. So in that way, the crowd, like, it really depends who the match is. For example, when we had Liam and Damian Slater have their match, Liam was one of our top heels at the time, and as they're having this match with Damian Slater, because our crowd only I want to say 10, 20 maybe people of the, I want to say 200 people that were at the show knew who Damian Slater was, and
Right.
you know, he's such a bigger guy. Everyone's kind of like, oh well, maybe we'll go for Liam in this situation. It really depends because it is so local, and I don't know if that makes any sense.
No, absolutely. Like
It-
that
it
happens
all
at a
really
lot of
depends.
that happens at a lot of local companies. Like when an outsider comes in, even if they're facing a heel, you will oftentimes get like they'll get cheered because they're the person that people know. They're the person that people see every
Yeah.
month. Yeah.
Yeah, in that kind of way. But within the storylines and stuff that we do have here, there's definitely a big, you know, boo cheer ratio, which is good because we don't want, you know, everyone to be cheered, everyone to be booed. That's, you know, you
Yeah.
want the story to flow.
So the crowd play along. They're a good crowd down there in Tassie.
Oh yeah, they absolutely love it.
I do know you guys have the worst referee in Australian wrestling. I know that.
Do we?
Yep, Ben.
Who? Oh, Ben! Good old Ben. Yeah, he's the absolute worst, I'll tell you.
Right? Just bury him. Bury him hard, please.
I will.
Are you working heel at the moment or are you working face? It's hard for me to keep up with what's happening down there. Like I try, obviously, but like there's no footage, so it's hard to know. You're working heel,
Yeah.
right?
No, I'm face.
You're working
I've
face.
always been face. Yes,
Okay.
I am probably like the number one face that we have at the moment.
Damn, because I was gonna say like slap him in a match, please. Please slap him in a match.
I'll
but-
just do it anyway. I'll be like, guys, I'm still good, but I'm just gonna do something real quick. Then I don't even care if you're not wrestling my match. Can you come here for a slap quick?
I gotta do this for Greg.
I gotta
Unchained.
do this.
Yeah.
Yes,
That'd be
just
amazing.
for one person in Adelaide.
Yeah, but even though I'm never gonna see it, I just want to know that it happens. You know.
Yeah,
So you mentioned
I'm
you
sure
went
I'll
to
make it happen.
awesome. You mentioned you went to VPW up in Queensland last year, right? How was that working
Yeah.
like interstate and doing your interstate booking, new crowd, working new people? Who was the match
Yeah.
with up there? Was that Tali?
It was against Carly,
Sick.
which was crazy.
Friend of the show.
It was such. Sorry.
She's a friend of the show.
Oh yeah, cool. It was such an awesome experience because I've always wanted to do it. I've had like, you know, younger guys come down to Tassie for, you know, doing an interstate show. I'm like, oh, I want to do that so bad. So when I finally got the opportunity to go to Venom, I was like through the roof excited. It wasn't until when I got there, I was like, oh shit, like I'm doing an interstate like wrestling match. This is getting serious here. And it was so awesome to have that match against Tali because she's someone, as I'm growing up and I'm looking into, you know, more women's wrestling than Australian wrestling, she's obviously one of the names that pops up. So I didn't tell her this, but I definitely, you know, idolized her and kind of freaked out a little bit when I found out that I was going to be wrestling her out of all people.
Yeah.
So it was like so awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, and you guys both have like the red hair thing going on. Or she's
Yeah.
dyed her hair now.
Yeah, she used to have like a reddish orange hair, but
Yeah.
yeah, now it's black.
She did like the whole Teenage Mutant Ninja Tali thing or whatever. That was
Yeah.
that was dope. But yeah, no, the red hair gimmick is like it's popular. And I saw you had an Instagram post where it looked like you had blue hair.
Yeah, I don't know what it was, but I was like, I'm gonna try and do the like Alexa Bliss, put tips in the ends of my hair. That lasted like maybe 2 shows.
I want to see Charlie Rose like full blue hair. That's what I want to see, man.
I want to see that too, but I'm too scared to dye my actual hair.
It only stings for a little while.
Yeah, I just have to get like a really good wig that stays and
Yeah.
won't like fall off.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'll totally do it.
That'd be really hard to wrestle in a wig, right?
Mm.
I guess a lot of
I
girls
don't
wrestle
know.
with weaves.
Yeah, it would have to be something like that, and then I guess you just kind of dye the top. That would look really weird once you took it out. It'd be like blue at the top, and then these ranger like ends.
So is that something that you want to do more of? Not dyeing your hair, obviously. The interstate bookings, like, is that something that's on the horizon? A bit more travel for Charlie Rose?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like that is my main goal for 2020, getting around Australia, meeting new people, being able to wrestle males, but mainly females too, because down here I don't get a massive opportunity to work with a lot of different females, where everywhere else there's usually like at least one or two, three maybe at every kind of company. But down here I'm the only girl. Oh, well, actually no, that's a lie, because we've just had a girl start training now,
Right.
who's also 14. But yeah,
So she won't be on matches for a while.
No, it will be a couple of years before she actually starts that. But yeah, just trying to get as much experience, as I can, working with everybody.
Yeah, for sure. Do you have any that are like on your list? Like, are you one of those people that makes like a list for 2020? These are the things I have to do in 2020, or is it just sort of a anyone who'll take me kind of thing at this point?
At first, it was pretty much anyone who'll take me. I've got a couple of things lined up that haven't been announced yet, that I'm so grateful for. And then, yeah, there's obviously different places and different things that I'd really like to accomplish. I'm just going to try and keep my mind open and manifest that, because, it all seems so far away, just down on this little island. But, I'm going to work hard to make it work, or try to at least.
Yeah. I mean, look, you mentioned manifestation just there, and I'm like, we can go a whole different direction and a whole different tangent that like the wrestling fans listening to this show probably won't want to listen to. Because I know you've recently started up tarot again, right?
Yeah, like I've always been into that kind of thing, but I never had like the utensils, I guess you could say, for, properly sitting down and getting into it. But yeah. Got some new tarot cards that are so pretty, and I'm just like, yes, I can sit down and just do my thing.
That's amazing. You got to pull a card every day. That's what I like to get to know them. You got to pull a card every day. Like, put it somewhere that is somewhere you go every day, and just while you're doing like a routine thing, like I have a friend who, while she's brushing her teeth, she'll pull her card, right? Like, which sounds weird. Like most people, like, you got to sit down and set the space and all that sort of stuff. No, dude, like just whenever you can fit it into your day, because like we live crazy hectic lives at this point, it's 2020, there's so much going on, and so it has to be something that you do every day, kind of like going to the gym, or fucking like yoga and stuff. Like, you need to get into like daily habits with it. But I feel like we're gonna bore people if we talk too much about tarot, but I fucking love that stuff. Same, dude. It's so interesting. Yeah. It's one of those things that's also kind of a touchy subject, because you don't know what people's beliefs in that are. But yeah, you're a witch. You're a devil worshipper. Oh yeah, yes. Praise the devil, Satan, all that jazz. I'm sure you could rock that into a good heel gimmick in Tasmania, right? Oh yeah, like that'd go over here in Adelaide, because Adelaide's pretty conservative. Yeah. Yeah. Well, we've already got a massive devil character down here, so I think that spot's already been taken. That spot's taken. You don't want to form a tag team? Not something that's on your list? I mean, I would absolutely with that person, Diablo, but yeah, not in the running right now. Fair enough. Let's talk about the North-esque Championship. You are the first ever North-esque champion. What the hell is North-esque? Okay, so there are 3 rivers in north of Tassie, and there's a north-esque, south-esque, and then they connect to this one big river that goes out to Bass Strait. And so I believe that the north-esque is the one that's closest to here. It's local. That's what that's named after. Right. So it's it's a very local name for a local company. Because when I was like, what the hell's North-esque? Like, it was very confusing to me. Yeah, because Tassie's such a local company. Yeah. It makes sense to all of us. Yeah, the locals get it. Because we sometimes forget that, like, there are eyes outside of this little island that are kind of peering in to see what's there. Yeah. And so with that, it's kind of, you need to have that explanation there. But for our local, which is, our main demographic, it works. I think it's cool. It's different. It's not, Yeah, well, now
I don't know.
knowing what it is, like, it makes so much more sense to me. I just thought it was like a random collection of words. Like,
Yeah.
North-esque. It's like kind of north-ish. It's the north-ish title, you know?
It's kind of north, but it's esque, and yeah, that's just all it is.
Yeah, but so you won a tournament, right, to become the first ever North-esque champion? How was that?
Yeah, I
How did
did.
that feel to like get that tap on the shoulder? Like, hey, here, kid, run with it.
It was crazy. Like, what you kind of like dream, where you kind of think about like the moment happening where you win a title, or you win your first match, or do something like that, and you play it over in your head. But it was totally different in the moment. Like, emotions come over you that you don't, think would happen. And it's just, it's overwhelming. But it's everything I could have dreamed of and more. And I feel so, privileged to have a company be like, yeah, we want you as, the first. It's crazy to me. I still can't believe it.
Because that can't be
real
taken
now.
away. Like, you'll always be the first ever.
Yeah, I can't even put words together about how crazy it feels.
Yeah. And like the final match was one that had a bit of story to it as well, right?
Yeah, it did. Good old Eddie Jones.
Yeah. So you guys were part of a team, a faction. Was it a faction or a team? There was more than two of you, right?
Faction
Yeah.
team. Yeah, it was the three of us. So I made my debut with this team. It was me, Eddie Jones, who was the leader, I guess, and Dylan Daniels, and we formed together to create Jonestown. So yeah, we would tag together, team together, everything. They always had my back, I always had theirs. And that, yeah, pretty much lasted, I want to say, just under 2 years before Eddie Jones kind of snapped it and decided to attack Dylan Daniels. I still don't even know why. I mean, you can look up promos and stuff that he said. It doesn't really make sense. And then I was checking up on him, and he swung a chair in my back. So at that point, I was like, okay, I don't care, what your reasoning is now. Like, we're going to put an end to this at some point. And it just so happened to be in the finals of the North-Est Championship tournament.
Right. And so it all came together, and you guys met in the finals, and you overcame your former mentor almost, I guess, like the guy that brought you into the company. And so what's next for Charlie Rose?
What's next for Charlie Rose is just moving forward and kind of putting that Jonestown, everything behind me, because we were such a close, tight group. Everything we did it together. And now that that's gone, I can finally really, not that I couldn't focus on myself before, but this time it's like, one-way arrow. We've just got to go, go, go.
Yeah. And so what have you got coming up? There's a show this weekend?
Yes, so we have our biggest show of the year this weekend called Annihilation 7. Annihilations are our annual kind of WrestleMania.
Right, the big one.
For down here. Yeah, so that's this weekend. Oh my God, I forgot it was this weekend. I'm like, I'm nervous. I'm excited to defend the title technically for the first time. I say technically because we had a event at a festival where I kind of defended the title, but it's confusing.
It's not canon.
No, it doesn't count. Festival shows, it doesn't count.
Well, that's the great thing about wrestling being fiction, right? Is you can just say that's not canon. That was an alternate universe, and boom,
exactly.
Done, sorted.
It never happened. We do not speak of this. Yeah,
That's
so
awesome.
the first proper defense of the new title this Saturday against
how did
Katie
that go?
Lux.
Against Katie Lux, right? How did that go? Like wrestling at a festival, though. Like that's very different. Like so, it was an outdoor setting.
Yeah, it's fun. We've always done. It's called Chili Skyfire. It's like a local radio event. They do a thing every year, and we've always wrestled at this event. It's really cool because it's a free event, so people get to come in and walk by wrestling, and we always get the didn't know wrestling was in Tassie, or didn't know wrestling was in Launceston. So it brings a lot of eyes.
Yeah,
which
so
is
it's
always
good promotion, especially right before the big
fun.
show.
Yeah, it's like perfectly timed in that way. But it's always fun just being given another opportunity to wrestle, where, you know, we only run shows down here, you know, three, not that many, like 6-7 times a year.
Yeah, so
So
every
any
other month
opportunity
kind
we
of
get
thing.
any opportunity we get to be out in front of the crowd, you know, we take it and we enjoy it. And the people who are watching seem to enjoy it too, which is the main thing.
Yeah, so it's got to be hard being that disconnected from everything. And of course, because it's a smaller company. So you're running like every other month instead of monthly because, you know, a smaller company. And I think that's smart. But it does, like, for you guys as talent, it makes it harder. You're training every week though, yeah?
Yeah, we train 3 times a week.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. But being so disconnected must be difficult. But, like, you guys do get some good talents down there. Like you said, Damian Slater came down, right? And was Richie Taylor came down for a show or two?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. What's it like getting to learn from those guys? You know, guys that have been, like, more connected on the mainland here and obviously, you know, get to travel around. I mean, you know, Damian Slater's a guy you can watch on WWE Network, you know?
Yeah. It's like, it's awesome. I love learning new, you know, the new techniques and everything with wrestling because, and I don't want him to kill me for this, the guy who originally trained me, and ever since, you know, he's left, we've noticed that our wrestling styles are quite old school, which is nothing wrong with that. But then we have guys who come down like Richie Taylor and Damian Slater, who do these seminars for us, and we realize, oh my gosh, like there's so many new styles and, you know, just little things that you don't really pick up on, like as a viewer, but as a person who wrestles and trains, it's like, wow, we're so outdated. So I always feel like I'm learning multiple new things when those guys come down. And
Yeah. So you got to pay attention to the little things.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so goals for 2020, we want to get out there and learn from as many new people in as many new places as we can, right? So where can people find Charlie Rose online if they want to follow what you're doing in Tassie, or if they want to get in touch to bring you to their neck of the woods?
They can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Charlie Rose PW with the E on the end of Charlie. And then my Facebook is, I believe, facebook.com/Charlie without the E .PCW.
Okay. So for the title of this episode, is it Charlie with the E or without the E?
I'll go without the E.
Without the E. So why do you have it with the E on Twitter? This is very confusing for me, Charlie.
Yeah, I know. I'm the worst. I'll tell you why. It's that on Instagram as well, because I hate myself for this because this is my own like anxieties and insecurities, but with obviously it's personal Instagram as well. So I've got, you know, friends and family who follow that, and I didn't want them to be like, why is Charlie taking the E off her name?
Yeah.
Because, well, people will be like, don't know, and I don't mind sharing this. Like, my actual name is Charlie Rose. So.
Right. Well, but it's because you're a wrestler. Why would they ask that question? They know you're a wrestler. And, like, wrestlers and strippers, they end their names in eyes. Like, that's a...
Yeah, I don't know. It's stupid anxiety. Like, it's so... Now I'm sitting here talking about it. I'm like, it's so stupid. She's changed and left it. But, yeah, in my own head being like, oh, people will question me. It's so stupid. Anxiety is my absolute worst enemy.
Oh, it's a bitch. Anxiety is an absolute bitch. Yeah. But you're out there and you're killing it, and like I'm enjoying seeing your journey, and I hope to see you, you know, get all around the place like you want to, and get all the experience and be one of the big names that this country produces, because like we're famous for our female wrestlers, and so I hope we can add you to that list as well.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that a lot. Yeah.
Thanks for coming on the show, Charlie.
Thank you. Anytime.
So that was Charlie Rose, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate her for her time. She is really one of the social media, like she's the one gunning for all the social media over in TCW. Like I really respect her for flying the Aussie flag and representing
Yeah.
Tassie.
I
For you
think
guys
there's
there.
a couple of people that don't even have Facebook, so like not even a
Which
personal
I
Facebook, let alone a social media thing
it,
for their character.
okay, you need some hustle. Like you need for the mainlanders to try and support you guys in some way. Like you need like people need at the very least a wrestling page and a wrestling Instagram. It's at this point it's mandatory to
One of the
try and get
guys is
yourself
moving to
recognized.
Adelaide. I'm quite disappointed. It's like, oh, I don't want anybody
Oh
to leave.
no.
Didn't even know about that. He didn't say anything today when we were doing some TCW stuff tonight. But how about, like, I was so impressed, this montage video that they had with Mercury and the Bueno Boys yesterday.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
I'm like, oh, check this out. I was at my friend's place and I hadn't even seen it yet. I started watching it. I'm like, look at the video quality. Like, what the hell cameras did they use? This is, like, incredible. Like, one of the best quality productions I've ever looked at on my phone. Like, this, like, really blew me away. And it was, like, really funny as well. So I loved it.
Everyone's going big for this one. So this Saturday, February 22nd, Elfin Sports Center, Annihilation 7, is it?
Yes, number 7.
Number 7.
If it's WWE math, it's our 7th anniversary, even though Annihilation was the very first show. So
Because maths, that's totally how that works.
yeah.
We might as well go through some of the card for you. We might as well plug that a little bit more. So for the TCW title, we've got Adrian Alexander going up against your champ, Zach Archer.
Yes,
This one's been in the works for a little while.
Yes. Like, I don't think, like, Zach didn't even wrestle on the last show. I wasn't at the last one because I was doing something. I was at Cradle Mountain. That's right. So yeah, they've been working up to this one for a while. So yes, no idea what's going to happen. I'm not the referee. Can I talk about, like, which matches I'm a referee? Obviously, these guys are all going to.
You can if you want.
Yeah,
but yeah.
Yeah, like, my head's in the sand a lot of it, but so I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens here.
Yeah, and we should point out all cards are subject to change. It's all very fluid. So if something happens to Ben on the day and just like, I was expecting you to ref this match.
Yeah. Hopefully no flights get cancelled. Like, I'm doing 2 pickups from the airport to bring some guys to the venue.
Oh boy.
The interstaters. And I'm sure you're aware, like, how often I fly to Melbourne for MCW.
Yeah.
And last Friday,
we're very envious of your travel, your frequency of your travel.
Yeah, last Friday, so an hour before going to the airport to fly to Melbourne to do Spartan race the next morning, and I get a text from Jetstar saying, "Oh, we've cancelled your flight. Click here to rebook." It's like, what? That's ruined my Valentine's Day night. So hopefully we don't have, because we've got 4 pickup runs or something from the airport. So hopefully everybody gets in with no issues. Or else
we wish all the best for you. So we have Liam Lacey going up against Diablo.
And I'm going to have, like, the best seat in the house as referee. These guys are just going to beat the shit out of each other. And I've just got to enforce the rules and stay the fuck out of the way. Like, this is, man, initially I was nervous to be referee, but, like, I'm so excited to see this as well.
It's a pretty big card. So we mentioned so Andy Rhodes will go up against Mercury.
Yep.
So one of the Bueno boys. We have for the North-Est Championship, Charlie Rose's first defense going up against Katie Lux.
So where's she based from? Because I feel like I've heard the name, but I haven't seen her perform anywhere.
MCW, like, she's fresh.
On the girl. Did she do the girl?
Former GCW Women's Champion.
Okay, yep.
Yeah. So still, relatively new to my knowledge, and a very, very worthy contender to Charlie. So hopefully she can keep the title in Tassie. You guys have got a mystery man to make a debut. So
yes,
I'm very, very curious about who that will be. You have we have some interstaters coming in. So Gat and Johnny Whelan going up against LFB and Tim Hayden. So I believe a couple of New South Wales and Queensland lads.
State of Origin match. Yeah,
State of Origin. Which, I'm not much. Are you much of a State of Origin guy? Or
no rugby. Like, whenever State of Origin comes around, you get these Facebook experts that, like, it's the only time of year they ever even mention rugby. Is it league or union? I don't even know. But all of a sudden, these people give a shit about it, and then you don't.
Everyone
hear
just
anything
comes
about
out of the woodworks and claims to,
Yeah.
as if the citizenship depended on it. Like everyone's just like, no, you can't be Australian if you don't support the state of origin.
If I had to pick a side, then it would be Queensland because my dad's from Queensland, so I have
okay,
a link.
just for humor's sake, I'm going to go New South Wales because I've seen Gad around in a few matches, so yeah. We'll see what happens with that one. And, of course, there's also a winner controls TCW match. You have Jackson Parker and Commissioner Gordon going up against Aiden Sage and Mr. Sinclair.
Yep.
I love all the ownership kind of matches. They always work out wonderful. And the match that I feel like could easily be the main event is the 3 stages of hell match between Dylan Daniels and Eddie Jones.
Yeah, this is probably going to get messy. Yeah, look, man, like this feud's been it boiled up, and we had the big turn where Eddie destroyed Jonestown and left Dylan laying. So
why Eddie? Why?
Yes, it didn't have to be this way. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun as well.
Yeah, but that's all the that's all that's going on with TCW. We should cut to some international news, I guess. So just trying to think what else we should talk about. So we talked about a bit about Ring of Honor. We watch the latest episode of Dynamite?
Yes, yeah, finished it like 2 minutes before we hit the call button here.
Excellent.
So
excellent, fresh in your mind.
Really good episode, wasn't it? Like
it was amazing episode.
Holy shit! It's the main event already. So I love it when that happens. I don't think I even finished last week's episode, but this was really good. Like paced really well, really good wrestling matches as well. No rubbish like Dark Order segments. You had the Dark Order in the big tag thing at the start, but that's fine because they're in the match. And a bit of a spotlight on Butcher and the Blade. Like you had the Hoss battle with the Butcher and Luchasaurus. And I feel like, have we ever had like an exchange like that in AEW? Like the two guys like just exchanging forearms? Because I really love that stuff in New Japan, and like that's the kind of things that I feel like has been missing from AEW that I enjoy.
Yeah, they are. It's no secret they're after a few big boys, after a few hosses. That's why they're very lucky to have Jeff Cobb at the moment. He's there as a contractor, so obviously he still works with Ring of Honor in New Japan. However long he works with them. Obviously, we would love him to work there more. But yeah, I think short of Jake Hager maybe kind of staring off with Luchasaurus, I think that was the first time that's 2 big bloods have actually clashed like that. But yeah, we had that big tag team battle royal, which the Young Bucks, in the end, they managed to eliminate, in the end, Santana Ortiz to get the victory. For that one, did you watch Being the Elite beforehand?
No, I've only ever watched it once. That was
okay. So in the build up to this, so Hangman's found out that the Young Bucks are in the match, and he doesn't want the Young Bucks to win, and he's having a few drinks. He's letting all the other teams know that one of the Young Bucks is I think he said Matt is injured on his left side or whatever, like just like don't like in that sense, like don't touch the left side or something like that, just hint. But yeah, all of that was for nothing. So the Young Bucks are victorious there. They're going to go on to face the team of Hangman Page and Kenny Omega, who managed to defeat the Lucha Bros in I was almost going to say the match of the night, but I think that we can safely say the main was definitely the match of the night.
It feels like these guys are defending the titles every week. Like
they've defended a few times actually. Yeah,
like they won them on the boat, and then it's been like 2 or 3 times since then. So
they're racking up those tag title victories, those tag team stats, just to get the stats back up in their favor.
Yeah, I'm worried that they're gonna sort of dilute title defenses. Like you don't get Jericho defending it every week, just saving it for the pay-per-views mainly. But
I don't think it will dilute it. I think just because we're going towards like a big pay-per-view, like for Revolution, and as you mentioned, Jericho is the one who's not going to be defending all the time, and the the AEW guys, they're all about tag team wrestling. So at the moment, they're giving everyone all these big matches for the titles just to, I think, at the moment, just to pad the stats. But I reckon after Revolution, because I personally think the Young Bucks are going to win, and that's going to finally turn Hangman. That's what I'm thinking. But yeah.
And do you think Moxley's going to win?
Moxley, I want to say yes. My heart's telling me no, but I think he is going to win personally.
Yeah,
because
you sort of see these results, like what you think will happen, but then you think, well, what's the
they can throw a spanner in the
going
works.
forward? Yeah,
absolutely, they can throw a spanner in the works. I thought the takeover card was going to be very very predictable, and like it wasn't. We'll touch on that in a second. But you had Chris Statlander defeat Shanna in a match, which I loved her. Dragon Ball Z.
Yes, I'm watching it, and take a drink. I was saying to my girlfriend, like, is that a Goku outfit? Like, what? And she's like,
that's the Turtle School Goku Kamehameha. That's the that's the gi.
First, it was the color scheme, and it's like, hold on, what, that logo? It looks like it. Like, it's probably not. Is it? Was it actually the Kamehameha thing? It's meant to look like it, but yeah. So I marked out.
That was wonderful. John Moxley defeated Jeff Cobb barely. He got an inside cradle. So it was the sneaky pin after just Jeff Cobb just absolutely manhandled Moxley. We had the return of Darby Allin, who is in the news as well for another thing we'll touch on soon. And then we ended the show with the big first ever steel cage match in AEW history, Cody defeating Wardlow. So this was, if Cody had lost that match, he couldn't face MJF at Revolution. I should have expected blood because it's Cody Rhodes, but because you're not. It's good that I'm talking to you because you haven't been the biggest Cody fan. It's like, so what did you think of the main?
I liked that when it started. It's like, well, this is about to finish in 15 minutes, so they're not going to draw it out. And the only spoiler I knew from the whole episode was that Cody bleeds very quickly. So I'm watching thinking, like, watch out for when he starts bleeding. Like, he got thrown into the wall, and then the camera goes away. So, and he goes like, oh, this must be where he must be cutting himself. And then you see him in the background. It's like, yep, here comes all the blood. And
there we go.
It just like so thick and red.
Like he is definitely a Rhodes, like him and his brother, like with the blading and stuff. Like, it's, some people think it's doesn't work in this day and age, but like these guys are very like old school storytellers. Cody harkening back to the WCW days of old, and just with the blonde hair with the blood, like you've seen that with like Ric Flair and stuff growing up, and a lot of those big superstars from like the 80s and the 90s. It's just, it works so well. I hope he doesn't have another scar like the one he had. I don't know if that's healed up all the way now from his match with Jericho for that big suicide dive.
Tope Suicida!
Tope Suicida. You get a Suicida.
I don't think we heard that all night. Very disappointing.
No, I didn't hear it.
I love like Tony Schiavone, like just how much he loves hearing.
He's still to this day, he's a fan of wrestling, and I love Schiavone. He's an amazing.
When
amazing.
I was watching last week's episode, I was like looking away, and then I didn't rewind it far enough to look at it. But Brandy was on commentary, so it was whatever segment that was. And somebody was watching like on a monitor or TV backstage, and I missed that bit. Then when it came back to the regular bit, I think Excalibur goes, "Oh, what a weird way to watch it! What a weird angle to watch a TV from, or something." And then Brandy just starts laughing. So, were they taking the piss out of WWE?
Yeah, only WWE does that. They've done that on a Being the Elite as well.
Okay, so on Dynamite, how were they standing? Were they doing to the side, or were they just watching it like a regular person? Just
regular people.
Okay, and so they're saying, what a weird angle. Oh, man. Yeah, I heard it. I didn't see it, but I still laughed.
Yeah, we had Brandy at ringside. MJF tried to let Cody know what he thought of him, but then So Brandy hit him with a steel chair a couple of times, and then
And
he got
Arn.
thrown out by
We
good
had
old
Arn
Arn.
doing the tease, like to hit Cody in the head with the steel door.
Yeah.
Door. It's like, do it just like he did to his father. It's like, oh,
Oh my god, just the level of just like those throwbacks, and just AEW does not. It knows its audience. It doesn't treat us like children. I think it's amazing. Just for just a, like more of an aesthetic question. What did you think of the actual cage itself?
the cage. Oh, it looked just like a WWE one. It was slightly bigger, wasn't it? It's like you could actually
Yeah.
slide down between the ring and the wall, but nothing else about it stood out to me. It's good that they said pinfall or submission only. You don't have to do the escape thing. So.
Yeah, no, I thought it was quite nice, and like, I think just like the extra pillars for it and made it just that little bit more imposing.
Stable.
Well, obviously stable as well, which is very good for Cody because he did a bloody moonsault to finally get the win over Wardlow.
Oh, so we haven't mentioned Wardlow. What did you think of him in his debut?
I thought he was wonderful.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting much from him, obviously, because he was being trained. He's only had like a dozen matches. He is a really new wrestler to anything independent right now. But he did his job well, and the fact that Cody bled early allowed like Wardlow to look like this just unstoppable monster. He kicked out of the crossroads. Cody did the big not the lethal injection cutter, but like something to that effect.
Cody cutter.
The Cody cutter, thank you. But yeah, there was no other way for it to go. But Wardlow, it took a moonsault off a steel cage to put him away.
Yes.
So
yeah, Wardlow was standing like he's not even in position. What's he gonna do? Like oh no, he stood up so he could a safer way to sort of catch him a little bit. So we've got another whole week until the pay-per-view. So is there any hoops for Cody to jump through next week, or do they just have to like sign a contract or something?
I think no. I think this contract signed. So the only caveat is so he has to make sure he doesn't touch him.
Okay.
But he's taken the lashes. He's done the steel cage match now, and so he's
gonna abduct Brandy, and it's like you gotta come out and get her. Because Dustin, like everyone else, is all tied up with stuff. So can they do something with Brandy to force him to try to attack or something? Going all the way back to was it Steve Austin and The Rock, and so if you hit me, then you don't get your match. You're just yellow. And then I think Kurt Angle was standing there, and didn't they just all do their finishes on Kurt Angle or something? Do you remember that? It was like WrestleMania.
Yeah, 18. No, I remember. I remember more like the Eric Bischoff Stone Cold, like you can't lay a finger on me. That's where I remember that working a lot. Growing up as a kid.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had so that was the big AEW show. We had have you seen NXT this week as well?
I don't watch that stuff, but I appreciate.
Yeah, no. I'm just confirming. I'm just saying, like I've glanced over it. So really, the big thing is Takeover Portland, like the results from there. So we'll just glance over the card quickly. So we have new tag team champions, NXT tag team champions, the Broserweights, which is like I was gunning for them, but I was really worried. I thought at least one championship match would mean the Undisputed Era lose a belt, and I thought that it can't be called just yet. And it turns out I was right. And you had the how many fish can Bobby Fish if Bobby Fish could fry fish? That was it. They had the big match graphic. Oh, it was great. But you had Keith Lee retaining his North American title over Dominik Dijakovic. Just that match has happened a dozen times, but each time they've always made it something different. We had Rhea Ripley retain her title against Bianca Belair, and then afterwards she got attacked by Charlotte, who accepted Rhea's challenge. So WrestleMania 36 will see Rhea Ripley going up against Charlotte Flair for the NXT Championship. Can't say Women's Championship anymore, so just the NXT Championship. I'm very happy with this. I don't know about you.
In that match, that's awesome. I am a big fan of Rhea Ripley, despite only ever seeing her wrestling like that first women's Royal Rumble, but she looks awesome. I've got the same
Yeah.
haircut as her. Yeah, and she's Australian, so yeah, go Rhea.
I had one of our lovely fans actually tag Greg and I, just saying like, because I was one of the first in our conversations just to say like, what about Charlotte facing Rhea at all? And they were saying like, they messaged us saying like, oh, they weren't convinced at first, but now they're completely sold on it. Do you think they'll add more people? Like
I hope not.
I would rather they like just keep it to Rhea and Charlotte personally, but they might add Bianca, they might add someone else. Like I don't want, because we had the big triple threat women's match at last year's WrestleMania. I'd rather not that be a regular thing for WrestleManias, triple threats for the women. I don't want to have to be
something like that.
Yeah. So
what's their involvement going to be for the NXT takeover thingy on WrestleMania weekend, or they just not have them involved at all and just do the WrestleMania match?
So obviously Rhea's just in the worst position, so she has to, I think, just defend her belt twice.
Okay.
So whether like it could, they could again, like they could, it could go to a no contest and then it's a triple threat for WrestleMania. That's the simplest way for them to do that. But I don't know. I want Rhea to look strong. I want her to go over Charlotte. So I think Charlotte, she got her Rumble win finally, but she doesn't need to win the NXT title. She can go back to the SmackDown or the Raw scene. I forget which. I think she's on SmackDown. I forget the brand at this point.
Yeah,
but we had Finn Balor defeat Johnny Gargano in, I thought, was the match of the night. Personally, just Finn Balor, just like Johnny NXT, Johnny Takeover, whatever you want to call him. He is like, when he, like, some people aren't sold on him when he's not working with Ciampa. I've been one of those people for a little while. But in this match, he proved to me like just the levels of just like emotion that he can get going up against someone like Finn Balor. And for those of you who are worried about him when he's not facing Ciampa, guess what? That's back on. So we had, to end the show, we had Adam Cole retain the NXT Championship over Tommaso Ciampa after Johnny Gargano hit Ciampa with the title, and now it's reverse. We're finally going to get that Ciampa Gargano match, but Ciampa is the face, which is...
How do people feel about this? Did they like, why Johnny, why? Or
why? It's a big why Johnny, why. But
to me, as somebody that doesn't even watch this, it seems really lazy just to make them fight against each other. But weren't they like the biggest feud of like however many years?
Yeah, it's just like they didn't want to let this go. Obviously, because they ended it in a good way with them kind of reconciling when Ciampa was getting his neck surgery, and they have eyed each other off a little bit. But they've been friends again. But obviously, they want to finally have that. They don't want to leave like a what if for this. So obviously, just one more time, one final time, they need to get this out of the way. Then this needs to get out of the air. Gargano, Ciampa, one more clash. Could be for the like a number one contendership, maybe. That might be a good way to go about it. Like somewhere down the line. But yeah, so Ciampa can have another chance at Adam Cole and then get back Goldie. That's my thinking. Although I could be wrong. Do you have any, are there any like particular NXT stars that you think could take over for Cole?
I don't know. As far as I know, Adam Cole was like the biggest star that they've got.
At the moment,
Besides,
yeah. It's hard to dispute against him. Because we for the longest time, you thought that maybe Keith Lee would be in that picture, but now he's the North American champion. I would love, like, he's only just come back, and he's feuding with a different member of Undisputed, but Velveteen Dream, I'd love to see him in the world title picture. There's a lot of, like, Bronson Reed, I would love to see him in that title, that you need to just pit Cole against just a real big boy, and who better than Bronson?
Is he doing much in NXT?
He's a lot of the live shows. Yeah, he hasn't had a chance to be on TV for a while. I don't think, but
Yeah.
he's still kicking it. He's still lasting over there, which is wonderful. But that's that's NXT. That's AEW.
I've got something else I forgot to bring up before.
Yeah, no,
But,
please go about it. Yeah.
Coronavirus. It's
Oh yeah,
so
that thing.
Stardom over in Japan have cancelled a whole bunch of shows due to the coronavirus. So
Yeah, it's been spreading. Obviously, obviously have the mass hysteria sometimes with the media and like a few people just not helping just with the level of panic. But
so there's shows on
obviously
22nd, 23rd, 29th have cancelled. Then there's
Mhm.
one on the 8th of March. So you'd think by then maybe things would settle down at all, but it's going to be a Corrigan Hall show. They're still having the show, but it's going to be an empty arena show, so no fans in attendance. But they're putting the
Wonder how
show
that's gonna go.
free on YouTube, so anybody can watch this show.
It's like this isn't more me. Like this is me personally. This might not be people listening, but I hate empty arena matches. People think like it adds to it adds to a grudge and makes it seem like more violent and brooding. But it just without the fans in attendance for certain things, like it just doesn't work for me. But that being said, I don't want them to funnel crowd reactions. I don't want them to.
If it's a hardcore, like, let's use the empty arena, then at least that's something where you can see weird spot. Like, they could go all around Corrigan Hall, and like I've been all throughout this building, like not the backstage areas and stuff, but that'd still be cool to see that.
But really commit to all around the arena if you're going to do that, because you literally have all that space. Like, but yeah, some empty arena matches but this is an empty arena show.
Yeah,
but some empty arena matches, I just think they try and go for the violence, but it just comes off as very campy. So for me personally, but this is Stardom we're talking about, so they obviously know what they're doing.
Yeah, is it like owned by the same company as New Japan? New Japan ain't
Exactly
canceling anything. They went out of the way to say that they're like everything's still going to be. Well, the shows are still go ahead as planned, but all meet and greets have been cancelled and refunded, type of thing.
Like short of tornadoes, like when Moxley got stripped of the US title, rain, hail, or shine, Japan will find a way to still put out shows.
Even that Minoru Suzuki, when he had his anniversary show, his indie show, where it was outdoors in Osaka, like in the heavy rain.
Yep.
That was cool. Made for an awesome visual. The match I didn't enjoy. It was a whole lot of nothing to me. But
we might as well talk about some WWE news as well before we finish off today. So we have the Women's Elimination Chamber match has been announced. So you have all three members of the Riot Squad. You've got Natalya, you've got Asuka, and you've got Shayna Baszler. Who do you think will win, and why will it be Shayna?
I don't know. I don't watch this stuff, man.
It's like legit. Like this is probably like the easiest match to
don't say that too loud, because WWE, when something makes perfect sense, they go against it just because they wanted to trick you.
I feel safe in saying this. Like, I think the question is not if Baszler will win, but how. So, because they've made her a vampire now on Raw, like she bit Becky Lynch's neck. But yeah, I just want her to submit. I want her to eliminate every single woman in that match, like one after the other, because she is
a
like,
vampire.
all the hype. She is the former fighter. Yeah. But like honestly, like I want Kirifu to clutch, like someone straight away, wait out the clock, next person Kirifu to clutch. Like it won't be pretty, and like so I want her to go through all the women except for Asuka, and then they have a proper battle, which like because Asuka just beat Baszler, like they had their feud over the NXT title when Asuka was in NXT. But yeah, like there's no other way they can do this. Like there's no other storyline.
If they
for
can have Brock
WrestleMania.
like destroy 15 people in a Royal Rumble, then I
Mhm.
can't see why they can't do this. You know, it
Exactly.
sounds like it makes perfect sense. So just do it. Will there be 2 elimination chambers? Will there be a men's one as
Yeah,
well?
no, that there you have the men's one as well. Thank you for reminding me. So you got you got Baron. This is for the winner of either Bray Wyatt, the Fiend, or Goldberg from the Saudi Arabia show,
Mm.
which you hope would be the Fiend, but if like honestly, in terms of the main like more eyes on the product, is sadly would be Goldberg, which.
Goldberg and
but
Brock Lesnar had the best match at that WrestleMania, by the way.
they did. They had one of the best. Like they worked with what they had. But yeah, so the 6 men in the men's elimination chamber match. So you got Baron Corbin, Shinsuke Nakamura, Bobby Roode, Daniel Bryan, Roman Reigns. Did I say Baron Corbin already?
Yeah.
Yeah, Baron Corbin. I think Dolph Ziggler. There's one other person, but yeah, another obvious one, but Roman's winning. Roman is definitely winning that one.
Roman and the Fiend makes the most sense at WrestleMania. Then.
Roman Fiend makes the most sense, although again, depending on WWE trying to throw a spanner in the works, like we could have a spear off between Goldberg and Reigns.
Don't forget, John Cena's going to be back soon.
John Cena's going to be back soon. Like
he's doing Elias or something, isn't he?
So he's appearing on a future episode of SmackDown. I don't think this week, but the week after.
Yeah, I think it's the 29th. 28th,
yeah,
29th?
It's 20. So leap year SmackDown. You can expect to see the Doctor of Thugonomics back there. Oh, we don't know if he'll be Doctor of Thugonomics. Probably not. I've just gone. I've been watching the Ruthless Aggression, the network special. That's why that's fresh in my mind.
Good thing that they reminded us about why WWF changed their name. Did you?
Yeah.
Arseholes.
With
just rewriting history to suit them. Was they didn't lose a lawsuit against the World Wildlife Fund? You know that never happened. Jesus Christ!
But it was the get the F out. I remember that.
Vince woke up one morning. It's like the only thing that can save this company because we're in the toilet. We need to change. Oh, let's just change the name. Yeah, because it was his idea just to do that. No courts made him do that at all. Fucking hell.
No. You have the rumor mill that, according to Dave Meltzer, so he's been going back and forth. He's been bickering, for lack of a better word, with Baron Corbin about. So the rumor is that John Cena will be facing Elias at WrestleMania after they had that little moment. Was it last year's WrestleMania? The one before? Yeah. So that I don't think that would be the best use of John Cena. You want him to have a proper big match with someone.
He might not be up to it. It's been a long time since he's really wrestled.
Yeah, but you got to think. So you have 6 moves of doom, John Cena. You need someone to really like a big high fly, or you need that like. I would love a Cena Fiend. I would love a Cena Fiend match. Like, so if heaven forbid they do a Goldberg Roman Reigns, they could maybe do John Cena and the Fiend. That might be a way to go. I have no idea, but
do you think everyone's ready to embrace John Cena? Like, I was like the biggest John Cena hater, but you know, he's been in some movies that I've really enjoyed, and he's been like fantastic in them, and I feel like I kind of miss John Cena, even though I'm not watching WWE, but like I would be interested in seeing John Cena now.
The Let's Go Cena sucks things. It's just it's not malicious anymore. It's just part of his character, and he's not trying to be like the center of attention anymore. So I think everyone's kind of over the hate for Cena. I think it's a great time for him to come back.
Yeah, because we know that he's not like full time. He's not. He's not
exactly.
Now it's like we don't know how many opportunities we're going to have to yell Cena sucks. So let's enjoy it while we have him.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's in cars with Vin Diesel in Fast and Furious 9. He's doing his own thing, so I think people have kind of accepted him now.
Vin Diesel's brother. in that movie.
Yeah, and in the trailer, like now, brother, it could be a very loose term. It could be half brother, step brother, brother,
family.
brother.
All family.
We're all
And
family. Like,
that's John Cena trying to like scoop in on the Han being back. Jeez.
yeah, like oh my god, Han. So obviously, people who don't know about the Fast and Furious franchise, just Han was a character that got killed in like the 6th movie.
Well,
I think.
if you go in order the movies came out, he got killed in the 3rd movie, but then he's in the
Yeah.
4th and the 5th and the 6th movie before. Oh no, was it No, he died in the 6th movie.
Yeah.
The 3rd movie really takes place 7th chronologically or something. Yeah.
It's a very complicated movie world that you wouldn't think, because when it started out was just about fast cars and
stealing VHSs. Wasn't that the plot of the movie? They had to like do a heist and steal like VCRs out of a lorry or something.
This was like 99 for like the first Fast and Furious
They're going
movie.
to end up in space very soon. Like not this movie, the one after. They're definitely going intergalactic.
Yep, Fast and Furious in space. Like we can't not at this point.
And at some point, we're going to have to get The Rock's character like facing off with John Cena's character.
Yeah, never before, never again, unless you're talking about movies.
Yeah.
Yes. No, I am all about that. A couple other quick WWE news before we go. So there's been some rumors about WWE messing with some MLW contracts that they're...
You posted this, but there was no like detail of what the actual messing was that they did.
So at the moment, it's just like lawyers kind of bickering amongst themselves. Like the rumor is, according to PW Insider, that they've been just testing the waters, because MLW, like really the only company they don't do relations with is WWE.
Yeah.
And of course, like you have AEW, but even then, like, because you got MJF, like, who's just finished his contract, you got Jimmy Havoc, like, who showed up recently on an episode of Dark. We're wondering where he was. Yeah, he's still alive. He's still kicking. But yeah, I can see them poking at some MLW guys. Like you have Davey Boy Smith Jr. He was former WWE superstar. He was on I think it was like the Bump recently.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, because like the Bump, they let in brackets other talent appear on their shows, so they can have the indie guys come over.
Like a sit down talking headset?
Yeah, it's like the WWE, and they put a lot of like breaking news on there, so people will actually watch it. But like,
so this is different than WWE backstage.
Yeah, so this was pre WWE backstage. Like they had the Bump as well, so it's a bunch of other people talking about all the big scoops. But you know, at the moment, like really all the big scoops now are coming from WWE backstage, like John Cena appearing on a future episode of SmackDown. But yeah, there is a couple former guys from WWE, like Loki or Caval when he was there, but I could see them seeing the world champ at the moment is a guy named Jacob Fatu. He's one of the relations from Umaga.
Yeah.
I feel like they would absolutely want to try and get him. God, you have Tom Lawler, but he's just re-signed with MLW. There's Brian Pillman Jr. There's a lot of guys that...
So would WWE try to like put them like in a wrestling role while they're still signed to MLW? Is that possible?
I don't think so. No, okay. It's like because WWE are the ones who are just like, no, you're exclusive to us. But yeah, like I don't see them, like, because that's the thing. I don't trust them to utilize the talent that MLW have. It's just grab them so other people won't kind of thing.
Don't WWE have like over 300 like wrestlers in their roster?
It's getting to that point where it's like, okay,
they can't use anybody properly.
Yeah. It's just like paying people to stay with them, like just so they don't go anywhere else. Like Shelton Benjamin, who re-signed his contract recently, which I obviously he wants to try and end his career with WWE on a good positive note, but what has he done?
Yeah.
Sorry?
On a good financial note. Like,
On a good financial note, definitely. Oh, absolutely. In a creatively fulfilling role, maybe not so much. People forget this is how much of a good wrestler he is, and like he is good on the mic, but people aren't giving him the chance to talk. Like because I remember obviously growing up in the Ruthless Aggression era, I love Shelton Benjamin. Like he was greatest tag team. He was IC champion for a while. Like he was like those Money in the Bank matches. He used to be the go-to guy
he was the star
for
in
those.
those.
Sorry.
He was the star in those, wasn't he? Those first.
Yeah, he was. I heard this analogy somewhere. I think it was from like Cultaholic or somewhere. But Shelton Benjamin was to the Money in the Bank ladder matches what Kofi Kingston is to the Royal Rumble, like with the crazy spot that he do to stay in the match, or like just some like so. Shelton was always the guy who managed to jump onto the ladder and do some big high flying spot that no one else could do. But yeah, he's amazingly talented, and you could have him working with like Chad Gable or Shorty G if you. Yeah, God.
Well, what is Shelton just on like main event or something? Is he?
I don't know. Like, I don't know what they're doing with him. Like, but yeah, it's just like those guys that they have on the roster, but they have no plans to use them at the moment. They're just, if they're lucky, they're in the 24/7 title picture to have a spot on TV. It's just sad. Like, obviously, so WWE, we want them to get their act together before they keep trying to acquire new talent just for the sake of acquiring talent. Like they've got more producers. They've got MVP. He's a new producer for WWE. He's had his VIP lounge segment on this week's Raw, so he's brought that back. Were you a big fan of MVP growing up?
He was in the period of time where I was not watching any WWE, so
Okay.
I'll probably never ever seen him have a match.
Well, if it is on their YouTube, obviously, that you can look up his match with Rey Mysterio. Like it's his good kind. I think that's going to be his final match with WWE. If you don't count the Drew McIntyre like basically squashing him straight away. But no, I'm trying to remember he had a great thing going with Matt Hardy back in the day.
I know about it. Like they did boxing and all sorts of weird stuff. I've never seen it.
Yeah, like they were tag champs together. Like MVP was a double champ. He was the US champ at the time. With Matt Hardy with the being tag champ. We talk about Matt Hardy as well. I think as well that's a pretty good transition. Just the stuff like we don't know what's going on with him with his contract. So he had the big no holds barred match kind of with so they advertised a no holds bars match with him and Randy Orton, and then they just scrapped it. So they just
he came out with like a neck brace, but there was no match, or did he just get beaten up or something?
So that's the thing. So like, apparently according to the dirt sheets as well, so they advertised for the no holds barred match, and Vince McMahon stopped it at the last second because Edge got attacked the exact same way as Matt. And
so Vince does have some sense in his head. Then I'm glad.
He does have some sense in his head, yes. Yeah. So, but if that was going to be the decision, I wish they'd never advertised the no holds barred match in the first place.
Yeah.
But yeah, Hardy got just absolutely squashed by Orton, RKO, chair shots. Yeah, this could have all been avoided after it seemed pretty final from last week with him getting beaten down by Randy. But yeah, it's good for Randy. If nothing else, it's good heat for Randy. He's a very despised man right now, almost as much as Dolph Ziggler for ruining Otis's date with Mandy Rose. I'm still not bitter, but
poor
no, two very different situations.
Mm.
But yeah, and we should mention as well, we talked about I talked about Darby Allin returning.
Yes, I was gonna. I don't know. I had it in my head. I was like, I wasn't going to get away from this too far.
No, because we have to talk about it. So World Series Wrestling dropped today, ladies and gentlemen. Their very first talent that they're bringing over to Australia is AEW star Darby Allin. We don't know where the tours are going to be,
or what dates yet. We know June.
What date yet?
How stupid is announcing talent before a date? Like, how can people get excited and not even know if they're going to their city unless you're in Melbourne?
Well, it's Darby. So he's not. correct. I could be wrong, but I feel like this is the first time he's coming to Australia.
Yeah, as far as I know as well. But like,
Yeah, so people can get excited for that, if nothing else.
yes, well, I can't because I could be in Japan with them. So
Yeah, it's like Ben has a very valid excuse, ladies and gentlemen, because he lives in Tasmania, and the tour, wherever it could end up, is not going to end up in Hobart, which is unfortunate.
And you've got all these people that comment, like the stupid comments as well. It's like, come to Penrith. Oh, is Chris Jericho coming? Just announce the city. It's like,
yeah.
Oh God!
If obviously everyone would love for them to come to their neck of the woods, and like you guys touched on this last week, so I'm not going to linger on it too much. But yeah, it might. I don't think it's likely that they'll head to the eastern states, but I could be wrong. I would love to be proven wrong about that. And I think we'll end on a bit of bizarre news that I saw this week. Like, Ben, are you a fan of The Mandalorian?
Yes, I am. The
You
Baby
are?
Yoda show is great.
The Baby Yoda show. It is exactly the Baby Yoda show featuring the Mandalorian.
Yeah,
And for
it
season
is
2,
like that.
for season 2, they it's going to be on Disney Plus in October. The reason we're talking about this, because if you're thinking it's a wrestling podcast, it turns out that one Sasha Banks is going to be appearing in The Mandalorian. We don't know her role. We don't know who she's playing. The size of her role. She could be a one-off character. She could be a main character. We have no idea because Sasha Banks has been away for a little while. I'm excited.
I want to put down a bet. She's going to be villain of the week, and and she'll be killed off, and that'll be it.
See, that's the thing. Like, I feel like that's going to be the route they're going to take. But I would love for I want to say reoccurring character just for the sake of it, just because I don't want her to be just as like a in anime they're called Soldier A's, where they're just like one line and they're dead. But I had the same reaction. We were talking about this before we started recording with Edge when he appeared on when it was announced that he would be appearing on The Flash. I was gunning. This was back in like season 2, the premiere. I was gunning for him to be like this big main villain for The Flash, and it just turns out he was a villain of the week, and he got killed. Just
like when they made a big deal about Edge being in Highlander 3 or
exactly that
game or whatever it was.
Exactly that.
I remember like he had one line, like he was like having like a bit of a sword fight, and he's like, "Oh, you seem to have lost your edge." And it's like, oh, sneaky little punch. And then it was just like a flashback sword dueling bit, and then that was it. It's like, I'll fucking watch this movie that Christopher Lambert's hardly even in because it's sort of like it was like a crossover with the Highlander TV series, so Christopher Lambert was hardly in it, and it was this other dude that I didn't care about. And like, I'm watching it because Edge is in it for like 20 seconds. God damn it! And they hyped it up on Raw and SmackDown or whatever back.
Oh yeah. But I feel like if Edge never appeared on Highlander, we wouldn't get him in Vikings. He is amazing. Have you watched him in Vikings?
No, I didn't even know he was in it. Does he have
oh my god, he's a main character. He hides his accent very, very well. He's just really gruff. He's a villain. I honestly recommend looking up some clips of him on Vikings on YouTube just to see how completely different he is. He's a legitimate actor because he's been on like Haven, I think the sci-fi series is called. Like he's learned a lot as an actor.
I just started with H, and I was like, I hope you say what the show was.
He's done a lot. Sorry, back to Sasha. She's I don't think she's had a chance to do much acting roles before, and obviously any chance for a WWE superstar to get a legitimate acting role outside of your Marine Sixes or the cartoons that they have, or the
13 rounds 4 or whatever.
Yeah, all that stuff. Just a legitimate production for they can actually get a nice credit to their name. As much as WWE wants to be everything, Vince wants WWE to be everything for everyone. You need something like this. You need like a Sasha Banks to spread her wings and just try something out in the Star Wars universe. Like, I don't think she's going to be a Force user, personally. I think it's safe to say that, but who knows? She could be a secret apprentice to Snoke or something. I have no idea.
Oh, Juan Carlo Esposito, whatever his
Yeah.
Grand Moff, whatever his name is.
All right. As long as she doesn't touch Baby Yoda, if she hurts Baby Yoda anyway, she's going to be the most hated person when she comes back to wrestling. Because I feel like they want to make her a face if she's going to go up against Bailey. They need time to work that again. But yeah, if nothing else, the lesson to take from this, ladies and gentlemen, if you touch Baby Yoda, your life is in jeopardy. And I think that's where we'll end this, guys. Thank you all so very much for listening. As I mentioned, I unfortunately won't be on the podcast in the next couple of weeks, so I hope you enjoy your stuff with Greg and with Ben.
Once.
Sorry?
So hopefully Greg can turn up and not be...
Yeah, he can turn up. Yeah, no. Like I was gonna say, like I'm sure you could handle a solo outing by yourself, maybe, or
What? Yeah, just listen to me talk about PWA and all these things I've never seen before. Yeah.
If nothing else, for the experience. We're all about learning and growing and developing, my friend. No, he wouldn't do that to you, man. Where can the people find you on the socials?
At Asia Mania Pod on Twitter, and come to TCW and you can see me there. How about you? Where
You can find me at Mr. Mysterious with 107i on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Grapple. Hit me up about all the goings on in Australian wrestling and about what you think about PWA, Ring of Honor, all the stuff we talked about. We legitimately want to hear from you guys, so more of that, please. If you want to follow Greg Unchained, he's at Greg Unchained on Twitter, at The Greg Unchained on Instagram. We collectively are the B Plus Wrestler on Twitter because Wrestler wouldn't fit, and the B Plus Wrestling everywhere else. So make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the 5-star reviews. Any and all support, guys. We really appreciate everything you guys do for us. So anything you can do to help just boost the channel, we absolutely love. So, ladies and gentlemen, I've been Mr. Mysterious. This has been the Flagship, and we will see you all very soon.